Hey everybody, and welcome to Views on Vue. I'm Ben Hong, Senior Front-End Engineer at GitLab, and today on our panel we have Chris Fritz, core team member, and one of the primary people responsible for the docs that we know and love.
Hi!
Today, for our guests, we have Jilson Thomas. Jilson, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, hello everybody. I'm Jilson Thomas, a Senior Front-End Developer working in a startup here in Toronto, and then I'm also a co-founder of VueJobs and an organizer of VueConf Toronto.
Great.
Hey folks, I just want to let you know quickly about Netlify. Netlify is a really cool system for hosting what are traditionally known as static sites. However, the real benefit that I've been finding is that I don't have to mess with a back end. I can just set things up. I build the website out. I've been using a system called 11DJS, and you just deploy it. And then anything that you have that you want to do, you can do on the front end. So if you want to pull in some kind of database with Firebase or something else, if you want to collect form data, Netlify provides all kinds of services that make it easy to do all that stuff. If you're trying to do serverless, they have a really, really neat serverless setup that will allow you to deploy your websites without having to deploy a backend, and it'll do some of the work for you. I just love it. So if you're looking for a way that you can actually deploy a website that only has front-end technology in it, gives you all the tools that you typically need for the back end without having to actually program the back end, then give them a try. Go check them out at netlify.com.
So I guess to get us started, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the Vue community?
Yes, actually, I was a full-stack developer. I mean, even before that, I was a UI UX designer. So I was into mainly graphic designs and all the stuff initially in the early stages. And then when I was doing my master's here in Montreal, one of the professors, he approached me and asked if he could do a PHP app for one of his courses or something. So I started picking up Laravel as part of that. So I used to watch Laracast a lot. So I was subscribed to Laracast, and the Jeffrey way was really awesome. So one day I was listening to one of his lessons, and then I got to learn about Vue.js. I think that was in 2015 or something, even before the first version. So I was working in a small startup at that time. So I had that freedom, to experiment with new technologies and all the stuff. So I was like, I told my colleagues, hey, let's just try with a small portion. Let's try to use Vue there. And then I think that's how I got into Vue initially. And then after that, the whole platform was built in Vue. And over that, the API has changed in Vue, but I had to migrate everything from the older version. But after that, I was mainly focusing on front-end development. So mainly Vue and Vue-related technologies. Yeah, that's how I started. Like, I was just going through my previous commits, all commits recently. I think last month when I was looking, I did my first interaction with Vue in late 2015, November or something. That's like small iteration of jQuery. Transitioning from jQuery to Vue. Yeah.
So is this 1.1 plus at this time? I don't think it was 2.0 yet, right?
That time it was less than one. Like it was point something like.
Oh, wow.
Like
you are an early adopter.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
So, and then you started like VueJobs, right?
Yes, I started
at some point. What was the impetus for that? What gave you that idea?
Like I told you, I was a Laravel developer before, so I was into that community for a long time. So I knew how things work there. So when I started learning Vue, I knew the potential, and then I knew this could become a really nice framework that people would massively adopt. So I was like, people might find Vue-related jobs, or they will be looking for Vue-related jobs. And that time, there was not even a single resource online. When I started learning Vue, I checked YouTube. When you type Vue, there wasn't a single course or anything related Vue at that time. So I checked Udemy, and there was nothing no course in Udemy too. So the only resource available was the Vue.js documentation and Laracast, I guess. So I was like, maybe I should take this opportunity and, just start a blog or something. Initially, it was called govujs.com. So I started writing some article on GoVueJS in the initial days. But I think that didn't pick up or something. So I converted that into a job site. So I created that in Laravel, and then started accepting free jobs. So there was a couple of companies mainly from Europe area. They were trying to find Vue.js developers at that time. So they came on board and then posted a couple of jobs, and then people started picking up, and then I started getting a couple of visits daily. And then and at the same time there was also this developer from Spain. His name is Israel. So I think he had the same idea. So he started his own version of VueJobs, and then it was kind of a competitor at that time. So I was in touch with Evan at that time. So Evan came to us, and he said, maybe you guys should start working together instead of having two different platforms. Maybe we can make it as a single platform, and then make it as the official VueJobs portal or something like that. So at that time I didn't trust this guy per se, because I didn't know, right? I mean, and I'm here in Toronto, and then he's in Spain. I had never worked with somebody in a project like this, but for some reason I was like, okay, I'll just go with that. And then I started talking to that guy, and then even he was super frightened or something, scared to share his code or project with somebody else, I guess. And turned out things were really good. And then we shared ideas together, and then we eventually built this website. So he mainly created the VueJobs site and everything, because he's more Laravel developer than me, I guess. And then so I had the VueJobs domain and everything, and then we migrated the code to his server, and then that's how Vue evolved or started, I guess.
That's really cool.
And not VueJobs actually.
It's all good.
And so VueJobs is basically just trying to fill that niche of like, where can I find jobs as a Vue developer?
Exactly.
And how can I find Vue developers as someone who is looking for Vue developers?
That's true. That's right. Because it was mainly acting as a platform where you can find Vue.js developers, because since it's it was an emerging framework at that time, so it was really hard to find developers, even though it is really easy to learn. But people didn't really know where to go and find developers, right? So the idea was to stay closer to the Vue community, and then act as a platform for the Vue developers. So everybody who is in the Vue community would have to know this platform. So yeah, that was the main core idea behind that.
And I'm kind of curious, is there anything that you've decided to do differently than other job sites that you've seen, like specifically where it's like, I think this could actually be improved a little bit, and you've taken a little bit of a different spin?
I think one of the main features of VueJobs, I think, would be like we are closely attached with the Vue community. So even Israel, he's also a front-end developer. Like, even though he's mainly doing PHP works, he does a lot of Vue-related works. So he's also friends with a couple of the core team members like Eduardo, and other community members like Alex from Alligator, I guess. So he's also from Alicante or something, I guess. So he had this idea of having a platform where it's more connected with the community than hey, we have this platform, you should come and check it out. So we were trying to be with the community, and then even if there is like small meetups or something, we try to go there and then interact with people, and then try to get their opinion when building this website. Also, we at some point of time we had this feature for developer profile. So developers interested in getting a job can create a profile, and then later they can be used for finding jobs in different companies. But we are still in the developing stage of that. It's not in production yet. I mean, we have that feature where we collect data from the user, like the developer profile, but we haven't implemented the particular feature where you can search for users and things like that. That's the future, I guess. He's also working on some packages where you can create your own custom jobs portal. So once we have that, we'll dedicate more time optimizing things for VueJobs actually.
That's pretty great. And then you all have a Discord channel too as well, right?
Yes, we do have. So it's VueJobs. I think we have close to 1,100 people there, I guess, right now.
Yeah, we'll make sure to drop the link to the Discord channel.
Yeah, sure.
In the show notes. But yeah, definitely a great place for people if you want to just sort of keep an eye on the job boards. Some people even put like projects that they're working on. It's a great little channel to definitely keep an eye on if you're interested in working with Vue.
Cool. And then after VueJobs, at some point you decided to like start a conference.
I wouldn't say after VueJobs or, it's funny actually. So the first interaction with Evan regarding a conference was in 2016 November, because I remember when the first conference, Vue conference, happened in Poland. So before that, there was a like group call or something with Evan and then Bartosz Riga from Montreal, a company based in Poland, I guess. So even I was a part of that call, and then Evan had this idea of having two conferences, one in Europe and then one in US, North America. So I was trying to organize a conference in North America, mainly somewhere in US, but I wasn't a professional conference organizer or event organizer at that time. So I was like, oh, I don't know, and I don't know if I can do that. So even after the call, me and Evan, I don't know if he remembers that, it's long back. So we chat for a while regarding the possibilities of having a Vue conference in North America, because at that time, Vue was mainly a huge popular framework back in Europe. I don't think a lot of companies in North America started adopting Vue. So for the same reason, I don't think having a full-fledged conference in North America would have done any better for Vue. So he decided to go with Laracon. So he was saying that we should have one day after the Laracon, so we can just get started from there. But I think that didn't happen as well. So it just so he had some talks in Laracon as well. So but there wasn't any conference in North America at that time. And then at that time, I was in Montreal, actually. And then I moved to Toronto as part of my job. And then things got out of control a little bit. And I guess I didn't think about it for a while. And then I heard about this conference in US. And then I was like, okay, we should have a conference in North America, right? And then this happened in US. And then at the same time, I think not in the same time, and after a couple of months, it's happening in London as well. So I was like, okay, maybe we should take this opportunity and then have a conference in Toronto, mainly because of a lot of factors. I was mainly trying to have a conference in Toronto because of a couple of reasons that I personally felt would be the same reason for other people to attend Vue Toronto. Because Canada being an immigrant country, we have a lot of people coming here, and then Toronto is a blooming tech city. I think I read an article about this where we have more job openings in Toronto than Silicon Valley. So it's a blooming tech hub, right? I was thinking, maybe we should have a Vue conference here in Toronto. Also, it's really easy to get visa for a lot of people. If you want to go for a North American conference, if it's happening in US, sometimes it's really hard to get a US visa, because I have friends who got rejected for applying. Who got rejected for US visas. So, but compared to US, it's really, it's not really easy, but compared to US, it's easy to get visa for Canada for things like this, because the Canadian government, especially the city of Toronto, is promoting this kind of tech-related conference a lot. So I thought, having a conference here in Toronto would be a better option for people who wanted to, go outside their country and then explore other traditions and get more exposure, I guess.
Yeah, and I personally, like, when I went to the very first Vue Toronto, I was frequently amazed that this was actually the first conference that you'd organized, because there was so much attention to detail. Like I could definitely see your experience with like UX there. There was a very good user experience at Vue Toronto, like a lot of little details that were just like done right. And I don't know, for people who have been to a lot of conferences, like, those conferences that you go to and to see like, yeah, they really put a lot of thought into this. And it's obvious at every point in the process. That's what I felt.
Yeah, I mean, it's also the fact that I considered this to be a in a pet project for me. Like I really care about this conference, and I was like, I should make this a really nice experience for all the attendees. So I didn't had any support from anybody. Like I didn't had anybody else other than my buddy. Like he's also from India, so he was a mechanical engineer, but he didn't know anything about Vue and related technologies or anything about computer science and things like that. So, but he helped me with the logistics, like finding a venue and then taking care about all the caterings and all the stuff. His name is Albin Joni. So he helped me with all the logistics. But other than that, all the other things I had to go and then do by myself, like starting from the website and then finding speakers, finding sponsors, finding a ticketing platform, and then make sure that all the branding, the designs, getting all the things, all the elements printed, and even the stage decorations, the technical stuffs and everything, the presentations on the conference venue, all the banners and everything on the conference venue, even the badge. I designed the badge actually, and then I was making sure that even if people are registering at the last moment, even if they are registering the day before the conference, I want to have a printed badge for them. So I was staying up late the day before the conference till 2 a.m. trying to figure out how I can make that badge for them. So I had this printer back my home, so I took it to Fairmont. So in the hotel room, I was trying to print all the badges for the attendees and then stick it on top of that badge. So I had help with Israel and Albin, my wife, actually. But yeah, that was a really awesome experience. So I wanted to just make sure that I'm not missing anything, because that's my first conference, right? So I didn't want to get anything like, people, I don't want people to say that, hey, you're not doing this right. So I was trying to make sure that things are going in the right direction. Also, last year, I had to handle all the emails and everything. So I guess I sent close to 1,200 emails just for the conference. So the back and forth. So to save time, I was making sure that I try to send email, or I try to reply to an email within like 10 minutes after receiving that email. So yeah, I mean,
that's impressive, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a couple questions that I'm curious about. First, what would you say is like the one thing that you did that you're really, really glad that you did, that seemed to make a big difference in people's experience?
I think the whole conference as it is, because when I started having that ticket sales for the conference, people, also the funny fact that I haven't been to any conference before the VueConf US, because that's the only conference that I attended before VueConf Toronto. So I only have, yeah. So I don't have any other experience too, right? So
now I'm even more impressed.
I know, me too.
So the only experience that I have would be from any videos that I watch in YouTube or things like that. So I read a lot of articles. So that's the only experience that I have for organizing a conference. So I guess having that conference here in Toronto would have, maybe that's the one thing that I'm really proud of, because when I started having that ticket sale, people were complaining, this pricing is too high, or they didn't really know what they're getting. Or because just like me, like at least 30 to 40% of the people who attended VueConf Toronto, it was their first conference. So they didn't really know what to expect, right? Because like I said before, Canada is an immigrant country. So people come from all over the world. So people come from developing countries looking for better opportunities, better living conditions, and all the things like that. So for them, this was first experience. So they didn't really know what to expect from a conference. So a couple of people have been to like some trade shows and things like that, but I don't think they have been to a conference where it's, it feels like a community, or everything is close together for them. Before the conference, when the ticket sales started, I got complaints from people saying that, hey, I mean, we don't know really what we are getting into or what we are going to get. So some people were really angry, and they were like, if this is not for me, then I should really want a refund. So, and after the conference, those people came back to me, and then they were like, oh man, this is such an amazing experience for us. So thank you so much for organizing this conference, because we didn't really know what to expect from, this conference. But yeah, I was really happy to see people saying all this stuff. Super impressed, actually. Also, there was one person who reached out for a diversity ticket. So he was a recent immigrant, and then he was trying really hard to find a job in Toronto, even though he was working in his home country for a while in the same field, I guess. So he was asking me for a conference ticket, and then he was like, maybe this will give him a career boost, allowing him to learn new technologies and things like that. So he sent me an email, and then I discussed with my friend Alvin, and then we decided to give him a ticket. And then at the same moment, he sent me an email back saying that the content of the email was like, I'm reading this email along with my wife, and then we are in tears because this is such a great opportunity for us. Reading that email was like, I was like, even before organizing the conference, I was like, okay, this is enough. That experience people get, that's the most valuable part. Yeah,
definitely an incredible anecdote. I think you bring up an excellent point. For people who don't go to conferences a lot, ticket prices can seem very expensive, right? Because usually they're like anywhere from like $500 all the way to like $1,500. Can you tell maybe some of the people listening, like some of the costs that like the organizers are paying for, right? Because some people are thinking like, oh, the organizers are pocketing like all of this money, and it's like, no, there's a lot that goes into this. Can you like sort of high level talk about the things that as an organizer you have to consider when framing those pricing?
Yeah, definitely. One of the main thing for organizing conference would be the venue, of course. So last year when we had that venue, so we were searching for like some really theatric style venues and stuff like that. But I think we were late to the party, so we didn't find anything really nice for a conference venue. So we had to go with hotel venues. So we looked for hotels in downtown Toronto. So nothing was available at that time because it's November. It's right after starting the company year. So people had many functions in all the venues. So also we started looking for venues pretty late, I guess. So the only option that we had was Fairmont, which is not cheap. It's quite expensive.
I thought it was a great venue. I didn't even think twice about it.
I mean, we really like that venue because we like, this is a really nice venue because it's close to the metro. I mean, the GO station, the Union, the main central station is right in front of the venue. But the only factor was like the cost. But we were like, since this is the first conference, maybe we should just go for the best venue. So venue cost would be the main thing. And then there are like other factors like food, beverages, and all the stuff associated with the venue. And then, of course, we have to we have to find a ticketing platform, and then all the fees and processing fees associated with that. And I think all the AV audio visuals for the conference, and then the expenses for the speakers, the travel and accommodation for them. And then even for the workshop venue, we had to find a venue for the workshop. So the workshop venue, food, and audio visual for that. And then I guess, all the printing materials, all the goodies, all those stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely a great overview. Yeah, I think a lot of times people forget that, especially with food. When you're at the hotel, sometimes they force you to go with their catering service. So, it's not even like something you could like contract to someone else.
Sure, because that's how they might make money, right? Because sometimes we don't pay rent for the auditorium. They like, you have to have some minimum deposit or something, so minimum spend. That includes the food and beverage plus the rent for that venue. So I mean, definitely the venue rent and food and beverage would be the main cost.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think JSConf EU, I believe, released like a detailed budget of like how much it costs for them to throw. They wrote like a meeting article. Do you remember that?
I think it's JS conference. Not sure.
I'll try to find it and put it in the show notes. But it's definitely really fascinating to see. Just like, I think people would be astounded if they realized just how much a lot of these things actually cost.
Yeah, definitely.
And so,
because it's not like a regular price when you go to a restaurant, right? And maybe if you go for a dinner or something, if you are not too fancy about the dishes or something, maybe it would cost you like $30 to $40. But having at the conference venue, it would be around 60. So
easily. Yeah, definitely.
This episode is sponsored by Sentry.io. Recently, I came across a great tool for tracking and monitoring problems in my apps. Then I asked them if they wanted to sponsor the show and allow me to share my experience with you. Sentry provides a terrific interface for keeping track of what's going on with my app. It also tracks releases so I can tell if what I deployed makes things better or worse. They give you full stack traces and as much information as possible about the situation when the error occurred to help you track down the errors. Plus, one thing I love, you can customize the context provided by Sentry. So, if you're looking for specific information about the request, you can provide it. It automatically scrubs passwords and secure information, and you can customize the scrubbing as well. Finally, it has a user feedback system built in that you can use to get information from your users. Oh, and I also love that they support open source to the point where they actually open source Sentry if you want to self-host it. Use the code devchat at Sentry.io to get 2 months free on Sentry's small plan. That's code devchat at Sentry.io.
So on a related note, I'm kind of curious, like, what are the things that you would do completely differently? Where you thought that would work out well and it just didn't. Or at least it caused you a lot of headache, because from my perspective as a speaker and attendee, things seem to go very smoothly, but, behind the scenes, it's often a different story.
Yes, so there are a couple of things that didn't go well as planned. So I guess the first thing would be the MC, because we had one person for emceeing the whole conference, and then for some personal reasons, he had some emergencies, and then he had to go at the last minute. And then I was really panicked, and then I didn't know what to do because I'm not a public speaker, and I wouldn't be able to. I thought I wouldn't be able to do the whole emceeing process and things like that. So the first person that came to my mind was Ben, because I met Ben when I was in VueConf Toronto, US. I don't know if you remember Ben. Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe I should just talk to Ben if he's up for it. Then that'd be really great. And then I messaged him on Discord, I guess. And then I was waiting for his reply, like, oh no, maybe he should agree. And he said, he'll think about it and let me know the next day. And then he came back to me and said, hey man, I know. He said something really nice. I can't remember, but he said he won't be able to do it in the perfect manner or something because it's an opening conference. But
I got really nervous.
Yeah.
To be totally honest.
Yeah. So, after that conversation, within 1 hour, I got a message from Chris on Twitter saying that, hey, I heard that you're looking for MCs. Maybe you should consider these people. And then he suggested me Divya and Jacob. Like, I'm so happy that Chris suggested them to me because that was really nice choice. And then they did a really nice job at the conference too. So, I told them 2 days before the conference or something that you should do the MCing. And then I met them the day before the conference on the workshop day. And then we sat down for a while, and then we kind of went through the whole conference days and all the things. And then they were like, all right, got it. So I'll take it from there. I was like, are you sure? And then Divya and Jake was like, yeah, I will take it from there. And they did a really nice job. Yeah, that's one thing. And another thing, it's actually kind of funny because it's the conference recordings. We hired this video company for recording all the conference videos, so we can have the edited version out for the people who didn't attend, or even for the same people. So we were looking really forward for having that edited video, so we can share with the Vue community, and then they can learn from all the speakers, right? So the first day went really nice, and the second day, so I guess Greg from VMastery, he came to me asking, hey, so did you check the videos and everything? Is it all okay? So then at that moment, I was like, oh, maybe I should just check if everything is going really well in terms of recording the conference and everything. So they were recording the person who is doing the talk, but not the project, the presentation as it is. So we had the talk, but no presentation. So the presentation wasn't recording at all. So the first whole day were not recording. The presentation wasn't recording on the first day. So I was like, oh man, we missed that. So and then I asked the audiovisual guys, and they were like, they didn't know about all these things. Maybe they didn't made aware of that situation. But the people at the Fairmont AV team, they were really nice. So that guy, 10 minutes before starting the second day, so he ran downstairs and then he went to his technical room to get some recording machine or something. So he came back and then started recording the presentation, starting from Chris' presentation. So I think that's the first presentation that we had on the second day. But anything before that, we didn't receive. And I was so sad that I couldn't record anything from Evan's talk because he was introducing, giving a talk on Vue 3.0. And then I couldn't find it because that talk involved a lot of demos too. So demoing Vue 3.0. But I couldn't record his presentations. Also, Adam Wathan's presentation, it was really nice, but it was mainly a demo-oriented talk. But since we didn't have any recording from him, so we couldn't just publish it. But I was thinking maybe I should find a way to recreate Evan's talk. So I got in touch with Chris to see if I can get his presentations somehow. Not the presentation, like the access to Vue 3.0 repository, so that I can try to recreate the same demo that he did. So I guess he sent a message to Evan or something, and then Evan gave me access to his repository. And then I was watching all the movements Evan was making throughout the presentation. And then I was trying to recreate the same demo in my laptop at the same time. So I was recording my screen, and then I was looking at Evan, and then all the hand movements, when he types something on the keyboard, I was trying to make the same keystrokes. So somehow I finally managed to record his talk and then, recreate his demo, and then I put together everything, and then I uploaded to YouTube. Same thing for John Leaders, the Beautify guy. So I tried to create. I was able to recreate his talk as well. So yeah, that didn't go as planned.
Dude, that is really impressive. I gotta say, oh my God, applause for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, things always go wrong, but that was above and beyond.
Yeah.
That's one of the main features or main highlight of the conference, right? Because if I cannot produce a content of Evan's talk, then it's not right? So I was trying to make things right, that demo, I guess.
Well, my hat's off to you, man.
Thank you.
Really, really impressed. So do you have anything you want to tell people as far as what's coming up next? Because obviously we have Vue Toronto for 2019 that was announced.
Yes. So we have the second edition of VueConf Toronto. So that's coming up in November 11 and 12. That's the conference days. So regarding the workshop days, so we had kind of a discussion going on whether it should be a pre-conference workshop or post-conference workshop, because the conference days are Monday and Tuesday because of the venue availabilities. We had to settle down for Monday and Tuesday. And then I was thinking, if we have the workshop on Sunday, some people might not come, right? Because they might go directly from the work, so they don't really care to go during a weekend. So I was thinking maybe we should have it on Wednesday as a post-conference workshop. For some conference, it makes sense, but some conference, it wouldn't make sense. For example, if it's an intro to Vue conference or something, intro to Vue or something, then it wouldn't make sense to have that workshop after the conference, right? So, but a workshop on a deep dive to Vue 3.0, that would make sense to have after the conference, because Evan would give a core idea about our main and highlights about Vue 3.0, and then the next day we can get more hands-on coding sessions with Vue 3.0. But I'm still trying to find a date for that. Most probably it will be Sunday, because we had a online poll for finding the dates. So most people voted for Sunday. So we might as well just go with Sunday. So, and other than that, we're trying to focus mainly on Vue 3.0 for this conference, because I guess it might be out by that time. I don't know, Chris, what do you think?
Maybe.
I'm trying to focus all the codes related to, all the talks related to Vue 3.0 and related web technologies and things like that. But yeah, that'll be another interesting fact about this conference. Also, even the last conference, one of the main focus of our conference was diversity and diversity. because like I said, we have people from all over the world here, and then I was trying to give them an opportunity to learn new technologies. So I thought this would be a platform where anybody can participate, anybody can give talks, anybody can come and learn new technologies. So that would be a highlight for this conference as well. So people, if they don't really have the budget or time for attending a conference, they can definitely watch our videos. But if they really want to come for the conference, then we'll make sure that we'll do our best to accommodate you guys. And then anything financially, if you want a flight and accommodation, then we'll try to accommodate that as well. So we are trying to raise a diversity fund, and then from that we'll allocate a couple of amounts for each individual who is trying to who is applying to this scholarship.
That's great.
Yeah, nice. So let's see. Is there anything else you'd like to share about VueConf or VueJobs or VueConf Toronto or VueJobs or anything else that you're working on or geeked out about?
So if you remember from the last conference, we had a lot of people were asking about the unicorns because that was a hit. So a lot of people asked me in Twitter. So they personally emailed me. They really wanted that unicorns. So, but we had those unicorns handmade from Spain. So it is really hard to get those unicorns, get here on time before the conference, because there's one single person who was making all those 5 unicorns. And then she was making sure that things were really nice, look and feel wise. So she took her time to made all those 5 unicorns, and then they all look really nice, I guess. So people were asking me, hey, can I get one of those unicorns? So I was like, we only have 5, so we cannot just give it to everybody, right? So, but this time we'll try to see if I can make the same quality unicorns for a couple of people at least. Or if we cannot give to all the people, we'll try to get few unicorns. And also, I really want to thank a lot of people who helped me along the way to organize this conference, starting from Beautify creator John, because he's been a really good friend to me ever since the VueConf US, because we used to talk a lot in Discord and things like that. So he helped me with a lot of support from his side. And then Gustav JS from Viewland Discord channel, I guess.
Yeah,
Derek Vandrekoski, I guess. Yeah, so he gave me a lot of advices, feedback from VueConf Toronto last year. So those were really nice, valuable feedback. So we are trying to accommodate all his feedback and then make sure that things will be taken care of this year. So yeah, he gave us a lot of insight about the VueConference last year. So a special mention, shout out to Drake for that. And then of course, Chris, thank you so much for helping us organizing the conference last year, because it wouldn't have been possible without your help. You did a lot of help for me at the last moment. When I was panicking, you came to me, hey, don't worry, if you need something, just talk to me and then I'll be here. Yeah, so thank you so much for that.
I did very little.
I know. I mean, you might think that you did only very little, but that mental support was really nice to have. Also, Ben Hong, another person that I really want to thank, because throughout the journey, I was constantly in touch with him. So yeah, even he helped me mentally to prepare for the conference, I guess. Huge shout out for that, actually. And then Blake Newman. So I was constantly in touch with Blake throughout the whole before the starting of the conference, because he was also organizing the VueConf London. So we had kind of the same mentality and thought process during those months, I guess. So whenever I have some doubts, I'll go and talk to Blake, and then he'll talk to me as well. So we tried to help each other, and then I think even for him that was his first conference, so he wasn't sure about a couple of things. So he told me about the bad decisions he took. So I was trying to avoid those things as well. So a huge thanks to Blake for all the advices and suggestions, and definitely Evan, you for all the support for coming here to be a part of the VueConf Toronto. and then for all the support that he has given all these days. Yeah, I think I've missed a couple of people for sure, but these are the main people who came to my mind right now. So just want to take a moment and thank each one of them.
That's very kind of you. Thank you for putting on the event. I really had a blast, and it is one of my favorite Vue conferences that happens.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, definitely really kind words, and looking forward to the ones coming up this year in November.
Yeah, definitely.
So where can people find you on the internets, and where can people find, information about VueConf TO? Where can they find VueJobs? Like, what are some links that we can drop in the show notes?
Obviously, I do have a Twitter handle, but I don't tweet that much from my personal Twitter account. But if you want to follow me, you can follow me. I tweet sometimes. So it's Jilson Thomas straight away. So you can find me there. And Discord channel, you can find me. I'll be online on VueJobs, VueLand. So you can find me there. So if you want to check out some jobs, if you're looking for jobs or something, you can definitely check out VueJobs and then see if you find anything really nice. You can just contact us. Also, I wanted to mention this because when I went for the VueConf US, I met a couple of people from that conference who came to me because I was wearing the VueJobs t-shirt at that conference. So there was a couple of people came to me and said thank you for having that VueJobs because they got jobs through VueJobs. So that was really nice to hear as well because I met a guy from chess.com. So he was at the conference. So he came to me and said, hey, I got this job from VueJobs. So that was really nice to hear, real life testimonies from people in person, I guess. Yeah, so you can find jobs on VueJobs. So if you want to attend the VueConf Toronto, you can definitely go to official VueJobs, VueConf Toronto website, Vue Toronto. So I'm trying to revamp the website for this year. So most probably the new website would be out by next week. That's the third or fourth week of May. And then we're hoping to have the ticket sales right away.
Nice. And so by the time that this comes out, ticket sales will probably be live. So you can head to vuetoronto.com and book those tickets.
Yeah, you can book them.
And that'll be happening in early November, you said, right?
Yeah, the conference would be in 11 and 12 November. The workshop would be most probably on the 10th, Sunday.
Got it. Cool.
This episode is brought to you by Triplebyte. Applying to programming jobs sucks. You have to put the right keywords in your resume. You spend hours and hours on the phone screens and take-home projects, and that's assuming the company even responds to your application. Well, if you're a software engineer, Triplebyte can help. They work with over 400 top tech companies, from big names like Dropbox and Adobe to exciting startups. You do one brief online interview with them, and if you do well, you go straight to final interviews with the company on their platform. It's like the Common App for software developers. Triplebyte does not look at your resume or where you went to school. All they care about is if you can code. I've helped dozens of software developers with various credentials get jobs, and this looks like a terrific way for you to get in and get interviewed and get a job without a lot of the hassle and overhead. You can go check them out at triplebyte.com/react. That's triplebyte.com, byte as in 8 bits. As a special offer for listeners of this show, if you take a job through Triplebyte, they'll offer you a $1,000 signing bonus.
So should we move on to picks?
Sounds good to me.
I'm happy to go first. So I only have 2 picks today. As frequently happens, none of them have anything to do with technology. One is Mocktails. These are 2 foods that I often eat or drink that people often comment on. A mocktail is, at least the way that I make it, just like a little bit of grapefruit juice, some bubbly water, and then regular water. So it's like very slightly flavored water. And I actually started drinking these when I stopped drinking, how long ago was that? Maybe 5 years ago or something like that, when I stopped drinking alcohol. And it was kind of a nice replacement for, beer or something like that, because it's, it's a little bit bitter, a little bit sweet, and it has some carbonation, so it was actually a really nice, non-alcoholic drink that is very delicious. And since it has very little juice in it, very little sugar, it's actually pretty good for you. It's mostly water.
Absolutely.
And the other food that I often eat that people comment on is meal squares. You'll especially see me eating these at conferences and workshops and other places.
I can personally attest to this.
Yeah, a lot of times when I'm traveling, I like to have a really reliable source of energy, and I know how my body will react to it. Sometimes for like a really sugar heavy or heavy breakfast or lunch, like your energy can kind of crash afterwards. But when you have to be on all the time, like it's nice to have a more reliable source of energy. And I use meal squares for this. It's sort of a meal replacement. At home, I usually just do it for breakfast. And then at conferences, I'll probably do it for a couple meals a day.
Seems like I'll have to make sure that's available in VueConf Toronto.
No. I'll bring my own. I bring my own. You don't have to worry.
Yeah, and for those looking to order those online, I've done it before. The website's a little, it was a little bit questionable at first, but everything came through fine and everything was good.
Yeah. I mean, it's a startup, so
yeah.
But it's good. Like the ingredients are good, and the process is good, and they last for like a couple months in the fridge. So it's a nice like quick meal that you can eat that isn't like as unhealthy as some of the other meals or snacks that you could make yourself really quickly, like a frozen burrito. And it's also, it's like basically real food. It has like ingredients that you'd recognize in it, unlike some alternatives like Soylent, which is mostly artificial rather than real foods.
Nice.
Cool.
And that's it. Those are my picks.
All right. So I guess I'll go next. And I mean, I think this is regarding a book that's wrote by Adam Wathan. Maybe a couple of you guys know about that already. It's called Refactoring Ui. So it's a really nice book for developers. Actually, it's all about design. So if you're a developer, if you don't know anything about design but wanted to have a really nice UI, then this book involves a lot of design tips and tricks that I guess all the developers should be aware of, because it's a really nice book. It covers a lot of design aesthetics and things like that. So definitely you should check it out. It comes with a couple of video casts as well. So it's a really nice book written by Adam Wathan and Steve Schauger. So they're also Adam Wathan was here for the VueConf Toronto, so he created the Tailwind CSS. And you should definitely check it out. It's a really nice book. I enjoyed myself reading that book because it's really worth it. And I'm trying to create the website, the VueConf Toronto website in Tailwind as well. So
very cool.
Yeah, it's really nice. That book is really nice.
Yeah, I've gotten a sneak peek. You all are in for a treat for the new Vue Toronto website.
Yeah. So the next thing, it's nothing related to the technology or something. So it's something that I tried to get online recently. It's an Amazon stuff. It's a thing that you stick on top of your camera in your laptop or iPad or phone, or not a phone, maybe an iPad, laptop, iMac, anywhere. So it has a small slider. So if you want to record something, just slide it back, and then it has a small red indicator that shows that the camera is visible right now. And then after that, you can just slide back in, and then you're safe. So
you should definitely cut that.
Yeah, definitely. So another tip would be one that the Sarah Drosner shared. So it's a HTML tag called base. So it gives you the option to modify the HTML anchor tag attributes, I guess. So if you want to make sure that all the links in your web application is opening in a new tab, and then without going through all the links, you can have one single tag, and then that you can mention that all the links should open in the same window or in a new window. So that's a really nice tip, because I didn't knew about that tag at all. So definitely you guys should check it out. And then another thing that's shared by Samantha Ming. So she has this thing going on, like 100 days of code or something. So she shares a lot of tips in programming for front-end developers, like CSS and things like that, JavaScript developers. So it involves a lot of really cool tips that I guess the developers should be aware of. So even if you're trying to get into developments or something, you should definitely check it out because it contains a lot of cool tricks that you can use in your daily development life, I guess. I share that link too.
Awesome. I think that means I'm up next, right?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I think like Chris this week, my picks are not tech related either. So I just got back from New Orleans. I think in the past year, I've had the chance to go there quite a bit and really get to know the French quarters and stuff. So if anyone's interested in going to New Orleans, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. Definitely want to get beignets. It's like the big thing down there. So definitely don't want to miss out on those. And then as far as my second pick, recently my little brother actually just visited and he whooped me solidly in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So that has been my new obsession as far as trying to figure out how to learn my mechanics and get even better. So if people want to challenge me online on Switch, happy to play against people. So those are my two fun picks for this week.
How do you spell beignets for people who want to Google it?
Beignets, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
they're French donuts. If you're wondering what they are.
Yeah, but if you probably just search for like New Orleans and then any kind of spelling that you can think of, I bet Google will know like, oh yeah, this is probably what you're looking for.
Yep, that sounds about right. All right. Well, I guess Chris, do you have any final questions for Jilson before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I'm good.
Yeah, Jilson, any final thoughts?
So I think I missed one person. His name is Matt Brailsford. So I think he made that unicorns as a design. So when he was attending the London conference, I have two rough paper with me. So I was trying to come up with a mascot for VueConf Toronto, like a plush toy for Vue.js actually. So, I took 1 week to go through all the possibilities of creating a plush toy and then created a lot of rough sketches. And then I was like, maybe I should go with the unicorn because I've seen people using unicorns throughout everywhere, right? So I was like, maybe I should use it. So I was creating some sketches for unicorns, and then I saw his rough sketch from VueConf London. So I reached out to him and then said, hey, maybe I had the same idea, so maybe we should make it as a plush toy for Vue.js. So that's how the unicorn design came out. So special mention to Matt for allowing me to do that.
Awesome. Well, with that, I guess that's it for this week on Views on Vue. Thanks for joining us. And until next week, enjoy the Vue.
Bandwidth for this segment is provided by CacheFly, the world's fastest CDN. Deliver your content fast with CacheFly. Visit CacheFly.com to learn more.